Hi, I'm Jane, and I'm just going to check the volume here quick. This is our political gravity show. We have 5 to 6 regular co hosts plus Mike from Singapore. On this week's episode, we had Ben from Washington State, Don, the co chair of the NAACP in Nevada, and also working on the campaigns up there in Northern Nevada. Jane, a master's in political science graduate with foreign policy expertise. Albert, an independent voter in SoCal. And Ben from Washington State, who is very educated and knowledgeable about the Constitution. I'm playing this week's episode. We cover a lot of things from international cooperative agreements, the disappointment of healthcare in the sense that it can't be tailor-made for all Americans, and it also results in severe penalties. Please check out our last episode on Ben's theory regarding immunizations and autism. There's a lot to cover. We have a lot of people weighing in on different topics, and you will not be bored. So with that, I'm going to go live in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hi, Wade. How you doing?
Hey, Jane. Doing good.
Nice to hear your voice. Is this Mike from Singapore?
Did you open my mic, dear?
Yes. We thought you got abducted by the Interpol because you haven't been on the show for 3 weeks.
No, nobody does anything because freedom of press, especially in Singapore, Europe is number one, so nobody's going to be. Maybe United States. Just kidding. Anyway, my dear friends, before we go to other topics, California, this mass shooter that killed himself 13 people. And there's something fishy going on because then there were at least four people from the Las Vegas shooting alive, and then they were alive this time in the second shooting too. So
I didn't know it was 4. I thought it was only 1.
No, there were 4 people, and then it was as FBI on Monday of your time, Tuesday of my time.
Don and Albert are on the line too, so go ahead, Mike, with your opening statement.
Sure. And then when they came out, suddenly the fire started next to their homes, and then so far so many houses lost, and plus also Northern California, total of 2,000 houses lost up to this moment. I mean, everything is fishy
my
going on.
pastor has a cabin up in Paradise, and that was really a huge, deadly fire.
Right. So this must be done by some right after shooting, and then fires come, and it doesn't make sense to me. Something. As soon as FBI left with all the computers, etc., whatever they were able to find, then they said we take it to the hacking system of FBI. FBI, they hacked the computer to find out any information, etc., blah blah blah. But so far we haven't heard anything, and they said no, we don't know why he did it. So everything is fishy as you know. So that was my opening statement. Please, Wade or John, and any other person, please. Next.
I want to ask the group, all 4 of you, including Mike. I'm reading the article. Was it really 4 people who also survived the Vegas shooting, or just 1?
I thought it was 1, but he didn't survive.
There was a guy named Nicholas Champion, a fitness trainer from SoCal. He did survive.
I thought he got killed in the second, in the one at the bar. Anyway,
well, let me look through it. I don't know the facts regarding that, being that I didn't prepare.
All right. Well, you brought the subject up. Hello, everybody.
I didn't bring it up. He did.
All right.
Anyways,
You're right.
so you guys, I don't think it's fishy. I think it's a coincidence. Nobody knows when a killer's gonna strike.
But maybe he put because he was a military operator in Afghanistan, so they teach him how to do. Maybe it was he put a device right around that area that he knew that because he knew that Santa Ana wind was coming. So he said, "Well, I go shoot, and then as soon as they leave, boom." I mean, he had some kind of timing, maybe something explosion happened.
Mike, no, the guy was sick all the time. He had a long history. He had been in the Marines and then be out of the Marines and then back in. So he had problems within the system. So this guy was actually pretty sick.
PTSD, yes, I know that. Yes.
His mom was afraid of him. Some of his neighbors said he was kind of weird.
Right.
That's why I tell
neighbors.
people not to go into the military. I'm going to the military.
Right.
That's great.
That's why in future, the moms of all the world, they will not send their daughters and sons to the war, and war automatically stops. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, I mean, if I sign up for the military, they own me. And, I admire the bravery of people that go out there. But, I'd be a little worried about, okay, what am I getting myself into? What are they, who are they going to tell me to point the gun at? And I'd have concerns. Yeah, I haven't signed up.
Like I said, my
That's
concerns are as soon as you walk through that door, after signing those papers, they start shooting you with all those vaccines. And some of those, I'm sure, are conflicting. They do something to your body that in a fusion catalyst situation changes your entire, almost your DNA. But the other thing is that everywhere you go in the military, you're subjected to every potential chemical and pollutant that man has ever made. When you're in the barracks, you've got asbestos and lead pipes. When you're at your workplace, you're subjected to every chemical, the most advanced chemicals known to man. And when you have when you're, eating your foods, you don't know what kind of foods they're giving to you. And then, of course, the battle, the psychological battle that they make you go through, where you are absolutely brainwashed to think that somebody else is less than you and you've got to go take care of them.
Yes.
There was only, out of the 12 people who died, there was only one Las Vegas person, and he died. His name was Telemachus Orfanos, and his parents said it was unfortunate that he survived Las Vegas but got killed in his own hometown.
Wow, yeah. No kidding.
So that was pretty sad. He was a 2009 graduate of Thousand Oaks High School. He spent 2.5 years in the Navy, and he was at the Borderline Bar and Grill to meet friends. Another one of the guys who died was a Marine Corps veteran. And then that sheriff died too, who was trying to help out.
Sheriff, right.
So,
right. That's
all these people were high-functioning, awesome members of society that did multiple things for other people. It sounds like.
Yeah, I don't want to knock the military. I know some just amazing, wonderful, bitter veterans, but I just don't feel safe with the idea of signing up and I can't back out and not being sure what I'm signing myself up for.
Well, I just think it's weird that about the 12 people that died, at least 3 were former military. There was also a guy named Justin Meek who never stayed idle. He was an Eagle Scout, president of the Octagon Club, a captain of the JV water polo team. and he attended Cal State for criminal justice. So I guess a lot of people in law enforcement like country dancing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
I don't know if what's spooky about it, Mike, but my college professor who lives in Newbury Park, him and his wife had to temporarily evaporate. I mean,
Evacuate.
Yeah, they had to evacuate the fire up there. And now with the Santa Ana winds blowing harder, the Ventura fire chief said it's going to get worse. But never has that fire been so close to the LA West San Fernando Valley suburbs. And both Wade and I had lived in the valley. Dom's lived in Pasadena, and Albert doesn't live about an hour and a half east of there.
Right. Especially, when Donald Trump went to France for the
D-Day
World War
celebration.
One. Yeah, exactly. Because he loves it anyway. Because he wants to have it in the United States next year for him too. He says he wants his army goes elect like Kim Jong of North Korea, and etc. They want to bring a missile and etc. Show off to the world what we have and what you guys don't have, etc. But Macron goes head to head with Trump in a speech commemorating the end of World War I, and he was proposing for European army and said nationalism is betrayal to patriotism, because nationalism, they say, only you think about yourself. But when you say patriotism, not only I think about me, I think about Jane, about John, Don, and all of us. I mean, we think of that. So there is a difference between nationalism, patriotism. Even Macron knows that, and then Donald J. Trump doesn't know that he comes and say, "I am a nationalist." So means I am think of myself. I don't give a damn about you guys, and he wants to take the healthcare away from people too, and that's another thing. I don't understand what's wrong with American people. You are sick. I mean, whether you have a home or not, it's not. But even most of Americans, they have home anyway. So for one incident, you go to the doctor, surgery, etc. It costs $300,000, and then you're ready to put your car, everything into the selling, and so you can pay off the hospital bill, and homeless almost, but you are not ready to have a health care that Obama gave us, and you don't, you hate that. I don't understand this portion.
I don't know, but we have to give some other people a chance to comment.
Sure.
As far as patriotism is concerned, I was wondering why all the fires had to be in California and why some couldn't be in Washington, D.C. But needless to say, why don't we let Wade, Don, or Albert talk? Then we're going to segue into the Florida governor recount. And
sure.
And Don can talk about Jackie Rosen's victory.
I wouldn't. I'd be careful that we don't want to get too fussy on like the semantics. What do people mean when they say nationalism? For a lot of people, it means patriotism. So you've got to not. I see this a lot in arguments where people push the word means to them and insist that that's what the other person means. A lot of people, when they say nationalism, they don't mean Nazis. They mean, like in The Sound of Music, the Captain von Trapp was nationalist. He cared about Austria. So sometimes for a lot of people, it means, I think it's odd that nationalism become such a bad word. Yeah.
I'm glad you brought that up because I did a paper on the 30 Years' War in college in Europe. And in 1648, the Peace of Westphalia established nation states in Europe after there was religious duchies everywhere, and the religious community had more influence than the government. So here was my question at Toastmasters for a debate. Nationalism is an enthusiastic fervor about one's country when European nation states were formally established at the Peace of Westphalia in 1648. It gave a more firm identity of national boundaries. How would you define a healthy version of modern-day nationalism under the current conditions in the U.S., being that we are a superpower? So there is healthy and unhealthy nationalism, like clapping at a football game versus living in the South and the KKK wanting to weed out blacks. I mean, there's a broad range of misguided versus healthy nationalism.
Well, the nationalism, it doesn't exist anymore. We'll go back to the ideological difference, or whatever we were calling it, identity politics. What happens is that our financial system is the main thing right now that determines nationalism. You can have the pride, the bravado, beating on your chest with orange hair, saying the Ku Klux Klan is the greatest organization alive. But the main thing is that his money, along with everyone else's, is tied up very tightly to all parts of the globe. And we're talking about the LIBOR, which is being manipulated that's true, by the UK. But when the EU is right now complicit, but we're talking about the intertwining of the yuan and the Japanese.
The yuan?
Right. The yuan, the Chinese money.
What? Chinese, also Korean has one.
Yeah. Y-U-A-N. Yuan. And
yuan.
Right. And then we've been integral in the Japanese yen and not so much the peso and South American currencies before, but now with this third central bank that Trump is doing a great job of dismantling before it gets any traction. And that's one thing good that I have to say. But we're talking where the BRICS have their glass house directive. But this is a magnificent opportunity to just do what America does best, and that is manufacture the highest quality, the best standards, et cetera, but it is going counter to what we really are or have developed, which is the global economy. So if we're talking, and that's why Donald Trump may very well win this next election, because he has a success with the economy that many people have never had before, or haven't had in a long time, or have had it and been destroyed. We're talking about the African American community has had its own banks and Wall Street, et cetera, and those powers would be always destroyed. Out of envy, out of spite, all of the, this is the most ridiculous crap. It never should be. But we've got some amazing people who are going to try to get it all taken care of. And we think that, with the upcoming Democratic Congress, we may be able to start slowly healing, because it is not the Democrats' way to be violent or overbearing and I mean, they are dysfunctional, but to be overbearing and mean and all that is not necessarily in the Democrat DNA. It just so happens they got their backs pushed against the wall.
Hey, Don, give people a chance to answer.
Yeah, I think I've seen I grew up in California, and I met a lot of mean Democrats, And actually, that's the most Democrat place I've been. And it's also where I've dealt with the meanest people. And I hear New Yorkers are mostly Democrat, and they're also mostly mean. And
I think
don't- yeah.
Californians are mean in a different way than New Yorkers. New Yorkers are
Yeah.
like they'll run over you on the sidewalk if you don't move because everyone moves fast. But in California, it's more of a disdain they're just ignoring you.
Or they'll do things. Well, they expect you to read their mind. They're like, well, you should have known what I was thinking. Why didn't you just know?